Hello everyone and welcome back to positionspecific.com and welcome to today's session, which is defensive organisation. Like all of our sessions, we always split them into three parts or three practices. So a technique practice, a skill practice and a game practice. We feel this is the best way to build up a player through unopposed, into opposed and into a game scenario. So when looking at defensive organisation, we always refer to our performance wheels. So we have an individual model and a team model. So looking at defensive organisation from an individual point of view, we look at scanning. So can the player see the ball, see the unit and see the danger? We look at movement. So can the defender adjust their footwork and the body shape in relation to where the ball and the attacker is? We look at dictating. So can they deny space? Can they delay? Can they deflect and force the attacker where they don't want to go? And finally, can they defend? Can they win the ball cleanly or force the opposition into a mistake? So taking that individual work into our team model, we look at desire. So personal desire to compete and win all the personal duels all over the pitch, and a collective desire to outwork and outfight the opposition. As a team, can we deny the opposition space between the lines? So looking at vertical compactness. Can we deflect? So can we deflect the ball and wide and fill the four nearest channels to the ball? So looking at horizontal compactness. And finally, can we defend? So can we get collective pressure on and around the ball carrier and win the ball cleanly so we can attack? Defensive organisation practice 1 is a technical practice. This practice is unopposed and has three parts. Part 1 is individual anticipation, Part 2 is back four organisation, and Part 3 is regaining possession. So in Part 1, the red players have a ball each and they're just going to play a pass towards the mannequins. The white players are just going to step in front of the mannequins as if to intercept and then fire a pass into the small goals on the halfway line. In Part 2, the red players are just going to shift the ball between themselves and the back four are going to organise accordingly. And Part 3, regaining possession. The red players will just play a ball into the white players as if they're regained. The white players are just going to play passes between themselves, eventually firing into the small goals on the halfway line. Once all three parts have been completed, the practice restarts. The second part of this defensive organisation session is a skill practice. This skill practice is an opposed practice working in a third of a pitch. The third of the pitch has been split into three areas, two wide areas and a central area. Part 1 of this practice, there'll be a 1v1 in the wide areas and a 2v2 plus 1 with a goalkeeper in the central area. The red players are looking to either score in the scoring zones or the main goal, while the white players look to defend. If the white players regain possession, they can fire into the small goals on the halfway line. Once those practices are finished, we're moving to Part 2, which is a 4v4 plus 1 with a goalkeeper. Again, the red players are trying to score in the main goal and the white players are trying to defend. If the white players win it, they can score in any of the four goals on the halfway line. The final part of our defensive organisation session is a game practice. This is where we move from our individual model into our team model. This practice is a 7v6 game plus 2 neutral players on the halfway line. The practice starts with a switch of play from the 2 neutral players on the halfway line, and then they play into the red team. Once the red team are in possession, they'll attack the big goal as normal, and the white team are just looking to defend. In part 1, the white team can win the ball and play straight into the yellow players from anywhere, switch of play, and then the practice starts again. As the practice develops, we're moving to part 2. In part 2, we look to encourage the white team to build possession, must get past the 2 cones in the third of a pitch before playing into the yellow players on the halfway line.